So last night, as I was out, I started talking to this one gentleman and I had a profound moment. I wanted to share that with you. I'm Diane at Healing Bodies, Healing Souls. So, as I said, I was chatting with this gentleman and he was talking about some stuff in his life. I was talking about some stuff in my life. And I said to him, I said, I don't get it. And I have had multiple men, multiple men tell me I'm intimidating. And I just want to be me. And I'm only 5'3". And it hurts my feelings. I don't want to intimidate anybody. That's not part of my game at all. What I want is just to be me, to show up, to have a good conversation, and to experience life. And he looked at me, and I will always remember this moment. He looked at me and he said, "It's because they wanted to intimidate you, and they didn't." And I'm like, oh my goodness, is that what it's been? So then I'm starting to kind of click back on all these pictures, all these images that are coming up, and I'm re-listening to some of these stories that these men show up with. And I'm like, not impressed, not impressed. And I'm thinking, okay, so all of this time it wasn't me. It was their inability to have conscious enough to be able to speak well and to impress somebody like me or maybe even most women. And so a couple times in my memory, I remember a couple years ago talking to this one guy and he's like, "Oh, I gotta keep looking at my motorcycle. I have my nice one. I paid $60,000 for it." And I looked at him and I says, "I will never care how much your motorcycle or anything costs you. Your money will never impress me. You have no ability to impress me when it comes to your money. Now, when you talk about your wife and how happy she is and how balanced your kids are in life, now that will get my attention." He walked away. He didn't come back and talk to me. I was 100% okay with that. And a male friend of mine for over 25 years. He's always stayed connected to me. We've always talked here and there, get together here and there. And I remember 2 years ago, he came to my home and we're talking, and he went to go get something out of his truck. And he looked around on my property, looked at my home, and he says, "Di, I've known you for so long, and I've seen you go through some really rough times." And he says, you just keep standing up. And he says, "Look at everything that you've done." And then he said to me, "When I think of you, sometimes I hate you." And I'm like, wow. And now I'm going through the images, the pictures, the past, and I'm realizing that he, over 25 years ago, I remember exactly where we were at and who was around us, that he looked at me in front of everybody and said, "You are so intimidating." And it's just like, I wish I could correct that moment 25 years ago and the one 2 years ago. I would actually look at him and say, "No, I'm not. I am your equal, and that is the part that you don't like." So, to men, if you need to stand up, stand bigger, be more important than the women, you're probably doing it wrong. Because an ego story will never impress me. Some of my clients, some of my friends make 3 million plus. Some of them have more passport stamps than a village. A couple of them have 2 PhDs. And that has never impressed me. I can stand toe to toe with them and be enough. Now, I don't have millions. I don't have a lot of stamps on my passport. But for the love of God, and I'm not really that religious, could you just go toe to toe with me and be okay being you? That's really all I'm asking. And I'm going to start being a little bit more direct with these men and kind of help them, maybe educate them that I'm not here to play an ego game or to fawn over a motorcycle that's 60,000, which to me is like, okay. That just went right over my head because that does not impress me, as I said before. So, men and women, I want to see our character. I remember a friend of mine, we were out for lunch. He needed to go to the post office. I hopped out of the vehicle also, walked in with him. He opened up a door. He quickly got to the door a little bit sooner, opened it up wide, and waited for a mom with a little 3-year-old walking right behind her. And I will always remember how beautiful he smiled at that little one and gave them room and time and space and didn't rush through. Now that is a man of character. That impresses me. When a man opens up the door, offers help, when he has solid children, that impresses me. So it's more of your character, not these stories. And this is for women also. I just don't date women. But I know if there's men that do this, I know that there's women that do this, and we don't want to. I've been doing this for a long time, so you are in good hands right now. And I don't ask just anybody what I should do. I just don't want advice from 4, 5, 8 people that are not an expert or a master in that area. So I'm not going to ask 8 of my friends if I should trade my truck in and get another truck. I may ask my tax guy. I'll ask me first. And then maybe I'll ask my tax guy if that's going to be a good thing or not a good thing. Maybe one person that could actually look at my story as a Diane story. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'd get a Ram 250 dually. And I'm like, what the hell would I do with that? So I don't ask a lot of people. And if I want to change my hairstylist style, I'm not going to ask 8 people, 3 people, unless it's a hairstylist I'm going to go to. So show up, please. Already self-approved, stamped on your forehead. And then you won't have to have all these grandiose stories. Try to impress when those stories are not impressible by somebody like me. Because I'm tired. I'm so tired of men telling me I'm intimidating now that I realize they were trying to intimidate me, trying to make them look big when they weren't. And I thought it was a me thing. So men, don't do that. Build your character. Be of service. Same with women. You'll be treated better by women like myself. I just went out with a gentleman and it didn't go well. He talked the talk but couldn't walk the walk. And after about an hour, I looked at him and I said, because I'm his equal, I don't look down on anybody. I don't look above. I look straight on. And I said to him, wow, all these stories that you've been talking about don't really give you a good light. So I don't know why you're telling me about all these stories that doesn't necessarily make you look good. It's like, it was like 8 years ago. I said, well, I don't need 8-year-old stories for one thing. But if you're telling me about your character then and it wasn't good then, it can't be good now. So was I intimidating? No. Was I a stand-up woman that wanted to have a solid conversation and set things straight? That is my right, gentlemen. And that's what I'm going to deliver every time. So now we're going to start paying attention to what we talk about and if we look good, if we don't look good. And we're not going to be intimidated by women anymore. You're going to lick your wounds at home, stay at home, or are you going to call somebody like me, Diane at Healing Bodies, Healing Souls, that will educate you and help you actually maybe like yourself, enjoy yourself, maybe talk well of yourself? I have 2 adult daughters. So when people, men and women, moms and dads, talk about their children in a negative light, I just bow out because I have never spoke poorly of my daughters to any human. I never have, nor will I. They're pretty amazing. But if their mom talks bad about them, oh yeah, my son's a loser. Oh yeah, I can't stand my daughter. Oh, you know how kids are. I was at a psychic fair and 2 officers came up and one female officer, she's like, well, you know how I have a 14-year-old son and you know how they are. I said, I don't. I really don't. But what you're doing is you're pigeon-toeing your son to be like all the other ones. And so you labeled your 14-year-old son as like, well, you know, like one of them. Whew, I educated her pretty quick, pretty fast. So to all the ones that felt like I was intimidating to you, suck it up. To all the ones that want to fix that is in them, give me a holler. I'm Diane at Healing Bodies, Healing Souls, and I will always remember that gentleman that said, you're not intimidating. They just couldn't intimidate you. That is by far one of the best gifts I've gotten to date in this lifetime. And that's why we need community and that's why we need to be out. So please listen to this a couple times. Women, show up. Men, show up. And thank you.